That's horrible, Charlie explained, startling the pajamas off any pajamaed people in the vicinity. Ha! You forgot. I am a scientist, Dr. Berger replied, and if you think that that's horrible, I haven't even gotten to the crux. I've invented an entirely new species. Like plants with hands, Charlie said to Margaret. His father agreed. Yes, but these new species have begun to age rapidly. Now I'm buying dentures and depends. I wanted to make a superior species, but a superior species, not a subsuperior species. I wanted to make their lives easier. I figured plants plus hands equals easier. But I can't take it anymore. And I've promised myself I wouldn't cry. Dr. Berger started crying like a baby being held underwater. I just have nothing to say about this, Mrs. Berger said, pounding back a bottle of red wine. Is the armored car here yet? I can't do that, Dr. Berger replied. I can't just decide to do nothing. It would be like involuntary plant slaughter. One day I'm going to find jobs for these motherfuckers assembling Legos. I believe that my plant clones can do this. But I've been inhaling a lot of asbestos lately. A shitload. Put yourselves in my place. I had more cerebral cortex than most. My mind... But you're actually one of the dumbest shits in this plant circus, Margaret offered. Come to think of it, it's a dead heat between you, your fucking plants, and Tom Cruise. No one's perfect, Dr. Berger said, leaning back on a table to take in the comedy. He started talking in a bland and serial killer tone. I have faults enough, but they are not, I hope, of understanding. They're mainly my intellect and anger. My temper I dare not vouch for. It is, I believe, too little too late. My good opinion once lost is lost forever, and this brings me to Mr. Martinez. That pederastying fuck, I'm going to have him incarcerated and then Juan incarnationed. He's going to be so fucked up, he'll be praying to Pat Sajak. Does the body rule the mind, or does the mind rule the body? Charlie asked. Dr. Berger nodded his head. I don't know, he said. What I do know is that the baseball bat rules the helmetless head. I wanted to make the perfect species, but I missed it by that much. But Daddy, Margaret said, putting her hands on her head for protection, you're such a tool. She took her hands from her head and put them on her hips. I don't know. One of them, Mr. Dr. Burgess replied, mucus pouring from every pore. I'm really that horrible? He was above, beyond, and even traversing that horrible. Maybe I'm that horrible when I'm holding my still-beating heart in my hands and asking for mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. He wasn't helping his cause. I have extremely quick reactions for a mannequin, and my blood contains 3 of the world's 6 elements. And give me a day or 2 and I'll have the cat dissected. Hell, I'll start now. Where's that fucking feline? Give me that tender victuals, pronto. Get that cat over here. Margaret and Charlie applauded. I thought this punk ass was supposed to be veering back towards normal, Mrs. Berger said, looking in the direction of her spittle-laden spouse. I'll be back to normal soon, Dr. Berger said, beating a tambourine on his hip. And if Mr. Martinez tries to convene his college fascist junta and take away my Employee of the Month award or my bathroom laboratory, I'll convert his entire city into a playground for the rich and make it mandatory to drive SUVs. Margaret and Charlie started to clap, but stopped. A little late on the last couple of points, Dad, Charlie interjected. Everyone who's alive now, Dr. Berger continued, will be dead. And then to Margaret and Charlie, you can applaud now. Thank you. It was all more than Margaret could process. She had recognized some of the words like you and can and applaud and now, but they sailed over her head on the way to hell. She closed her eyes, counted to 10, and then things got worse. Dr. Berger turned around to go back into the bathroom. Oi, his spouse loudly espoused. Where the fuck do you think you're going? I'm going to work on my plan to destroy the city with my plant friends. Dear, Dr. Berger assured his wife. I'm also coordinating our outfits because we may be bringing this city to its knees, but we're not savages. It was the weekend and most of the plants were doing their tendril isometric exercises. The bathroom was strewn with piles of rope, piles of raisins, and bottles of talons polished in anticipation of All Talons Day. Some of the smaller plants were petitioning to be transplanted into the garden. Even the doctor's lab equipment had a petition going, this one trying to prevent them from being melted down and sold to the university to make keychains. On Sunday, the family was scheduled to go out shopping for proper bathroom accessories. Margaret was in the garden sneaking a smoke when one of the transplanted plants accosted her. These plants are complete pieces of crap, Margaret thought as she felt a tendril caress her ankle. Fucking plants. It's a beautiful day and they pull this shit. The sunlight was particularly low and suddenly a voice whispered through the smoky haze. Margaret. Margaret looked down at the plant that was wrapping its tendrils around her and stammered, What the? Margaret, the tiny transplant said, do me a favor, please. Huh? Do me a favor, the plant plotted. Kill your father. I am your father. Kill your father. I am your father. Kill your father. I am your father.
Yes.